Hey guys, it is Ryan Wagner here again with the Daily BE, and this is episode 3. And today I want to talk a little bit about flannel, the fabric flannel. It has a really interesting history, and then also just about, if you're looking for something flannel now during the winter, what can you look for to make sure that you get what you are really after? Because there's different types. And big picture, I think flannel is one of the biggest misunderstood fabrics out there. And even myself, for a long time, I thought that flannel was really more of a pattern, which is untrue. It's the process, as I'll get into here in a second. So those are the two things I want to cover, a little bit on the history, and then secondly, what do you need to do today to find the right kind of flannel for you. So what we do know is that this is a very, very cozy fabric, right? Flannel is amazing. I'm sure you have your favorite flannel shirt, or it's maybe a bed sheet, or whatever. Flannel is just amazing. And it has this really impressive ability to trap in heat. It's a great insulator, right? And also though, it's something that can wick moisture away. It's still very breathable. But what a lot of people don't know is that flannel is very much a fabric. It's not a pattern. And something very similar to today's flannel was first invented way back in about 17th century in Wales, over in England. And it was made from a worsted wool. And it really stood up to that cold and that wet weather that's so prevalent over there. And best of all, aside from being durable, this fabric was inexpensive. And so it gained momentum and traction for the coming decades. And then it wasn't until about 1889 that a gentleman by the name of Hamilton Carhart, of Carhart fame, started the company, and he really started selling this durable flannel fabric to a lot of the railroad workers in the United States, and specifically kind of the iconic work overall. And so Carhartt was born, in part due to bringing flannel fabrics over. And fast forward a little bit, mid-century America, in the business world, switching gears from the railroads to the business world, the office, flannel suits were very prevalent. Everyone was wearing flannel suits. Your grandfather probably had a couple of flannel suits. And today it was almost it's a very nice alternative to like a tweed fabric. It's cold outside, it's January, and the tweed suits come out, but we don't see a lot of our flannel suits, which is a really cool way to go when you think about it. But this flannel, initially it started off as being a very kind of tough guy thing. It was the railroads, it was Paul Bunyan, and then it transitioned a little bit into the business world. And then in the 90s, what happened? Kurt Cobain and company kind of brought back the flannel look with the grunge movement. But wool, cotton, synthetic, doesn't really matter what it is, it can all be made into a flannel. And that's because flannel is made when a metal brush in an automated mechanical process kind of breaks up the loose yarn a little bit and lifts these little fibers. It doesn't break it, doesn't take away these fibers, but it just agitates the fabric enough with this brushing motion that it kind of gives that fuzziness that we think of when we think of flannel. So that's how it's made. That's what makes a flannel fabric. Flannel is just that process of brushing it, and it's called naping. Now, today's version of flannel, this is softer than what your grandfather was wearing, and certainly what was being worn in 17th century Wales. But flannel still comes in different weights, and I can tell you about the different, it's usually described by the grams of the weight and the fabric, but the best way, if you're going out shopping, whether it's at a store and you hold a shirt up to the light, or with us, we have a fabric swatch that you can take a look at and hold it up to the light. If it's real thin, you're going to be able to see a lot of that light come through. So holding up to the window, for instance, you'll see a lot of light come right through that piece of fabric, and so it's a very light fabric. This one in particular is more like a jacket. If I were to hold this up to the light, it would block it out. And I don't know if you notice, I'm wearing a t-shirt under this, and so that's why I treat this shirt as it's like a coat for me. It's so thick. And even holding it up on a hanger is it's a heavy dress shirt for sure. So the point being that there's different levels of flannel, just like anything. Really it's a continuum. And so you can get the very very durable, very outdoorsy flannel, and a lot of the national outdoor brands have popularized. But also, flannel is something that you can make an awesome, really cozy suit out of it and wear it in place of your tweed for the colder months of the year. And also, flannel dress shirts can be made into anything that you want, and it's just, again, all this is really helping, I think, paint the picture that flannel is a really versatile fabric, and it's still cozy as can be. It's awesome, right? We all know this. We all have something in the closet that makes it our favorite thing to wear. So that's the kind of the fire hose version on flannel, where it comes from and how it still lives on today, and in maybe more ways than you thought. So what we do tomorrow, I need to think of a topic for tomorrow's show, but we'll figure it out. So as always, any comments, let me know. Shoot me an email. If you have my number, send me a text. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe. We will be back tomorrow with a new episode of the Daily BE. Thanks.